What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Brian Talks Money Podcast, where we talk about money, mortgages, and real estate. And what a better way to get it than from the people that do this for a living every day. Today, we have my business brother, none other than Jariah Caissie, aka Mr. Buydown, in the house. What's up, bro?
What up, everybody? Excited to be on. I just hit the mic.
No worries, man. No worries. So what's going on, bro? How's everything going, man? So excited to get on here and speak to you about some crazy stuff that's been happening and just overall get an idea of what's gonna happen, what you're up to, and what's the 2023 outlook for you and your career, bro.
It's exciting. I feel like we made it through the worst.
Yeah.
Worst of it.
Oh, of course.
And we, did more than survive it. Like it was pretty good, and it helped us a lot. Really excited to see rates just got a little bit better.
Yes.
I'm excited to see what that does for buyers right now. More people coming out. And what podcast number is this?
This is podcast number 2, right?
2?
So if you haven't already seen episode number 1 with Blake Miller, definitely go check it out. But what's been going on with you, man? I mean, you just got back, just had a baby. How's your sleeping schedule?
It's not there. It's been well, I don't want if my wife's watching this, I know you stay up later than I do. It's okay. But it's been rough. It's no sleeping through after 1 a.m. I feel like she's awake. So I just been getting up instead. I'll just be like, oh,
hey, I'm up already.
Let's go to the gym. Let's get my day started early and try to get to the office on time. So.
Nice. So how has that a transition of, you already have one baby, one daughter. How has the transition of having 2 daughters now impacted your workflow and basically just your overall life so far?
Well, I'm really lucky to have a wife that
Congratulations,
handles everything
bro.
at home and lets me go out and hunt for business. So it's been motivating, I guess, to be able to try to get. I got to double my money this year.
Yeah, I know you got 2 kids, bro. Double expenses.
Absolutely.
Nice, bro. Some exciting stuff. That's awesome, man. And so let's get a little bit into what we can expect for 2023, the market, and as far as from your point of view, what are you seeing right now so far?
So I'm seeing we have a lot of homes that are selling really quickly.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of homes that aren't selling still. So I feel like the areas, you'll see San Carlos, La Mesa, those areas, if it's a good home and everything is, good bedroom count, single story, they're selling really quickly still.
Correct.
People are still putting down crazy amounts for it. But those other areas, the buyers aren't necessarily being driven to those areas as much as they were when the rates were crazy. And they were like, oh, I got to live in Lakeside where I live.
Yeah.
I got to live in El Cajon because I can't afford to live in La Mesa. But I think those areas are definitely they're still going.
Right.
Quick. So it depends on what you need, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, as far relatively to San Diego, it's one of the most how do I say demanding and most impactful markets out here.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like it's a lot different than other areas. When prices drop here, they kind of they'll stay pretty high because of the demand. And although we have started to see some dips from previous years, the demand is still here, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still seeing a lot of people actively wanting to buy houses. We're getting pre-approvals in and out. But one of the most alarming things is that now those high price range houses where when the rates were low, people are kind of thinking about twice whether that's the right investment, right?
Yeah.
But the biggest competition that I'm seeing is in the 600 and below priced houses, right? So the condos, the small townhouses and stuff like that. Why? Because I feel that everybody now with the rates is more or less approved around that range. So everybody's kind of going towards that type of properties.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. Because the last time we did it on, what was it, the 515 range?
Yeah.
That's a tough range to be in.
It really is.
Everybody's in that range right now. And then if you get past the 900, that's when it's less competition. If you like it, you might be able to get it unless there's obviously things happen. And
of course.
Fly off anyway because they're perfect for somebody. But I feel like that range, not as many people are qualified for.
So I wanted to get into why they call you Mr. Buydown, and actually I just made that up. So
I like it.
You're trying out new things. So let's talk about the buydowns. Last year we had a very, very exciting, dreadful, and overall just weird transaction. But one of the biggest things that, right now is helping buyers, minimize their monthly mortgage payment is the buy down strategy. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the negotiation it takes, how you basically present it to the listing agents and how you were able to get over $30,000 for our buyers.
Yeah, so basically this situation was a 3-2-1 buy down. And this was our second time getting it for the same client.
Right,
We'll talk more
right.
about that later.
Yeah.
The way I negotiate it is you really gotta find out what they want, like what the sellers want. Like in this case, the seller, they needed to be out of there quickly, so we were able to do a quick close.
Definitely.
Shout out Mortgage Heroes, that was great, and we were able to, just give them everything they wanted. They wanted to have everything be fast.
Yeah.
They didn't want to have any questions of like what they were gonna have to pay for. So the way I strategized is like, hey, yeah, we're asking for $37,000 right now at the beginning, but that's what we're asking for.
Right.
That's it. You guys don't have to stress anymore. And we're still going a little bit up on their price, but they're still netting a little bit less. But it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So I think that is what is important, is to make it so it's a win-win for everybody, both sides.
And I think, 100% I agree, just because of the fact that, you are the sellers are dishing out thousands of dollars, but at the same time, they are still selling their house, right? So would you rather, get your house sold or, let it sit on the market? And that's one of the things that we're noticing a lot right now, especially for, for buyers, that although rates are higher and, they might, trend in a higher range for the remaining year, as we know that the Fed raised federal fund rate by, 0.25%. These strategies are here to help you save money on the front end of the mortgage in the first couple of years, right? So, big shout out for you, man. And that's actually not the first time you get it accepted.
It was the second time.
Let's talk about that, that dreadful transaction we had ending the year in 2023, which, everything's a blessing in disguise, I believe, and things happen for a reason. And, future pacing now, I feel like our clients are going to be in a way better position. The house that they're getting into is a lot better. Way better. I'm actually excited to, go through the housewarming party there. So
Me too.
But yeah, talk to us about, what we went with the first house, with the family that we helped out.
Yeah. So the first time we were in escrow, 3-2-1 buy down also.
Woo! Over $30,000 negotiated. Again.
So we went through the transaction, and then towards the end, seller just decided that they didn't want to move forward anymore. We didn't ask for anything.
And that's very strange, because it usually happens the other way around, where the buyer somehow just isn't able to pull through.
Yeah. And things happen. Obviously, the situation, like, it wasn't the agent's fault. Nobody's to blame, but it was just very unfortunate to have my buyers in that position, because they already had paid for inspection. They paid for all this stuff. They already gave their notice. They were ready to go. And then things do happen. And so it was definitely a learning experience for me.
So tell us what happened, man. And it's okay to share. I mean, we're not going to say any names, not going to disclose any specifics, but what truly happened?
So basically, there was just, there was health issues that were going on, and they just said, hey, we're not selling anymore, even though it was on contract.
Right.
So, we could have went the route of going to court and going through all that, but at the end of the day, it was just, that's going to take a long time and be more stressful and add more to it. So my buyers just decided, like, hey, let's just go find another house and let's continue to do this. And God has a plan, and it ended up working out.
Yeah,
it ended up working out really good. It took a long time to be able to get the 3-2-1 again, because I feel like you set the bar up there, and it's like, oh, you're Mr. 3-2-1.
Yeah, no, right? Like, right? Now it's like, bro, like, I just put it out there, man. Like, if you guys want that 3-2-1 buy down, I don't know.
And I really wanted to get it again. I was like, I gotta own the name, right?
Of course, Mr. 3-2-1, Mr. Buy Down.
Just so you know, it's not super easy. So any buyers that are out there, I'll try.
and I mean, and just full disclosure, I mean, everything in real estate is negotiated, but it isn't always guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, just something to keep in mind. But one of the things I wanted to touch subjects on, and honestly, that I just can't believe you got to accept it twice, bro. Back to back with the same family. Like, for them, that was everything. And I mean, big shouts out to our clients that are going to be closing on their house, or by the time you guys listen to this, they're already be in their house. But one of the things I wanted to touch subjects on was, your military background, right?
Yeah.
Last year was the year that you retired, correct? Yeah. And how does it feel, from putting in the time in the service to then transitioning fully over to real estate? Give me a little bit of a background of what what the military did for you and how it prepared you to go into real estate.
It definitely created discipline. Like discipline, like showing up every day. Like, you see me, I'm here. Besides when I had the baby, I'm here 5 days a week.
Yeah, that's good.
And I work the weekends, I'll do 7. But it also motivates me, because I know what it feels like to be employed by somebody and have to do whatever they say and live on their schedule. So it really motivates me to be like, I don't want to go work a job for someone else. I want to do this for myself and for my family.
Your family, yeah.
So that's what I every time I think about like, oh, I could go back to work at, Starbucks or something, it's like, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, right. It's almost it's funny because I use that exact same I guess motivation that whenever you think that, oh man, things are getting tough, and you start thinking like, maybe I should go back to the nah, let me double down here. And usually it's something that people go through all the time, where it's like they start having self-doubts, but those self-doubts should be used as a force for motivation and push through, because the hard times and those struggles is what honestly helps you continue to move forward and find that confidence in yourself to say that, hey, I'm self-sufficient, I can accomplish this, I will, and I can.
Yeah. And like one of the things that I learned early, like I had those self-doubts.
Yeah.
I was like, man, when am I going to get a deal? Like,
yeah, no,
of
course.
Am I going to be able to get out of the military?
Well, survive? I mean, think about it. You're getting BAH, you're getting BAS, you're getting base pay. So I mean, you're constantly like used to getting that pay and know what you're going to get, and then switching over to real estate. I mean, for those of you who don't know, if you're not hunting and if you're not closing, you're not eating.
Exactly.
But that's the biggest thing also, though. I mean, you have the right head over your shoulders. I mean, like you said, you're in here day in, day out doing the activities that are going to get you the deals, right? So for those that don't come in, don't do the activities and don't put the time in, I just don't understand how you would think that you're going to get some traction going for yourself.
Absolutely. It's like you have to, every time you think things aren't going well, you just be like, look yourself in the mirror and be like, am I doing the activities that I need to do? Shout out Blake. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Getting Blake, finding Better United so early and meeting, Mortgage Heroes. We're all a team and we're all in this to win, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's motivating and it keeps me going every day.
100%. And homeowner, right?
Yes.
So you used your VA when?
It's been 4 years now.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about, what your thoughts were when you first, decided to want to buy a house, to use your VA loan, and then, what was your transaction experience like?
So I didn't know anything. So the way I kind of do things, those that don't know, if I come up with an idea, I just do it. I don't think about it. Like,
hey, you're like me.
Yeah, that's why we get along.
Shoot in the name.
So I literally one day, I Googled houses in California. And then I submitted a loan application online and got a call the next day. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm getting approved for buying a house. So that's kind of how it went down. Did it in a couple weeks. Experience, I didn't know what a realtor was supposed to do. So I felt like I was definitely lacking on the negotiating side. I felt like I had no power. Like every time something needed to be done for work on the house, it was like, you got to do it. There was no like, oh, like,
so this is what that means.
So I just thought that was normal. Actually, I probably wouldn't be a real estate agent if I didn't buy a house and experience that, because I got a little irritated and was just like, man, I can do this. I can do this better. So I decided to jump on and negotiate and make your VA buyers especially, they don't want to pay a whole bunch of money extra. Like their whole goal is they think $0 down.
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of what I do is try to negotiate and make sure that they pay as little as possible.
So, now speaking in the, in the present, what would you go back and do differently? And what would you advise, military home buyers that are buying a house for the first time do?
I would advise to go over options, do some research on who you're hiring, not somebody that's their first, maybe it can be a great deal on their first ever deal, but do some research, see if you connect with the person.
Yeah.
Don't just pick whoever, one of the lending companies gives you, like I did, where it's just like, oh, this is your person, and that's how it goes. Do the research on their past transactions, who they've worked with, look at some reviews and see, is this person going to negotiate for me and save me as much as possible?
No,
that's kind of what I do different.
No, definitely. I mean, I've worked with you. I think last year you were the agent that I closed the most deals with, so I know exactly how you definitely do that upfront work. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of shed some light on is that in the transaction, the biggest thing is having the person that's guiding you really understand your goals and really understand the type of person you are, right? It's almost like dating someone. You have to make sure you connect, they connect with you, and you guys can, more or less, be on the same page and, know each other's, moves without having to really think about it. And that's where I feel it gets lost a lot, because real estate is more of a personalized transaction rather than a one-size-fits-all. So what one of your friends, one of your family members go through may not be the same experience that you go through. And then working with the best that you see online sometimes isn't always the best option for you. So I would always say, do some research, like you said, speak to some people that have bought homes, talk to them about their experience, and really, really go into the process, understanding as much as you can, but asking questions along the way, and verifying everything that you learn, because you're going to come to find that a lot of people like to, brush over everything because this is the biggest transaction you're making in your life. So they try to make it as quick, as seamless as possible, but you can miss a lot of the important information along the way. Like, what options you have available to you, what can you do as a buyer, what can't you do, and what negotiation powers you do have. So moving on, what do you think are some advantages of buying in this market currently?
Well, we already hit one, buy down.
3, 2, 1, buy down. 2, 1, buy down. Yep.
So if you're one of those people that's like, I need a couple years to be able to afford this home, do that and then do the refinance.
Yeah.
Hit up Brian, hit up somebody over here at Mortgage Heroes and refinance then. But if you wait, you're going to be in the same boat as you were before. You're going to wait and then you're going to say, hey, waiting for the market to crash again.
And that's honestly like it's like a hamster wheel. You're just going to keep going in circles and circles and circles. But I just feel that you're right. I mean, as long as you have the right plan, one of the advantages I feel right now is that if you are prepared, if you can afford, the payment, then in the long term, you're going to be able to refinance that payment. And then your home, since prices are kind of easing down a little bit, that spread on equity is going to be a little bit higher. Yep. Now, on the flip side, if you do wait until rates come down again, and they won't come down to the 2% like we saw, right? That was all artificial by the government, the Fed stepping in. What you're going to see is high demand, minimal prices, and ridiculous overpriced homes. So, I mean, pick your poison. Right now is a good time to get a fair deal. And yeah, although rates are up, rates come right back down. You refinance and problem solved. Yeah. Now, you can't solve the price that you buy your house at. If you bought it high, you bought it high. And what goes up must come down. So you're probably going to get a little drop in equity before you see any appreciation.
And just to use my house as an
example. Yeah, exactly. Please.
I bought when it was 5%. And I really didn't know much about real estate at that point. It was just like, hey, what do I qualify for? What's my monthly payment? Okay, let's do it. Right. So I got it at 5%. Now I'm at 2%. So, I mean, not saying you'll get to 2% again, but you can get 3, you can get 4. And
just roughly speaking, right, 5%, which is more or less, the range that we're probably going to be seeing throughout the rest of 2023, 5, 6. Yeah. What was the payment at 5%, and what was the payment at 2%? How much savings, more or less? Give us a ballpark.
More or less, I think I was paying $3,100 a month when it was at 5, and then I was around $2,500, but it would have been less. But insurance, everyone's insurance spikes. So
last year we did see a spike in everything thanks to inflation.
I think at one point I had it at $2,200 a month.
So over hundreds of dollars saved, right? So that's what you can future pace to expect when rates do come down. And right now it's just about getting in, right? Because rents are going to go higher. If you don't know what's going on, big corporations are looking to move in and buy as much real estate, billions of dollars worth of real estate. So that only means that they're trying to turn us into a renting community. So before that happens, I mean, I would get on it, make a plan, and talk to somebody that you trust about how you can get into a real estate property.
And one more thing real quick. If I would have waited to buy my house when rates were at 2%, I would have paid $300,000 more. So just goes to show, that's a perfect example of
and it's I feel like a lot of this fear or these doubts gets fired up by all these headlines that you see online, right? So online you're gonna find anything you want to hear. If you want the market to crash, you'll find information and articles of why the market's gonna crash, and those sound very believable.
I was yelled at for buying a house by my command,
right? But then on the flip side, if you want to find videos about why right now it's the best opportunity, why right now it makes sense to buy, you can find that as well. What I always say is, go do that research, but fact check it with professionals that do this day in and day out. So what would you say are some disadvantages of buying in this market?
Well, your monthly payment might be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Depending on, if you get a good buy down, you can.
Well, if you get a good realtor that can do some, heavy negotiations for you, you could, minimize that.
That would be the disadvantage. For
the biggest.
Besides that, if it's a good price and you can afford it right now, it's never a disadvantage to do it.
Yeah, and if it fits your needs, if it has the right, qualifications for you, then don't wait. Honestly, trying to get a better deal or waiting for the market to crash, because you might be waiting forever, and that opportunity could honestly vanish. Yeah. What would you say some of your 2023 goals are, or what do you have planned for this year, and what's going on for Jariah?
So we're trying to help 100 families this year. With
Yes,
Better
we
United.
are.
So
100 families.
Not trying. We are going to
We
help
will.
100 families this year. So I'd like to do 40 of them. Like that's my, I guess.
That's your goal?
That's my goal.
Okay.
Pick up some more listings. Done a lot of buyers. Done a few listings now, but I would like to get heavy on that. Maybe have it 50-50. That's kind of the goal.
Nice.
So,
What about some personal goals for life, family? What would you say you got? If
I mean, paying off the house, that'd be pretty good. But
so, I also heard that
fitness,
you're looking to make your first investment purchase, this year.
That's right. The big goal. So December 16th, I have it circled on my calendar, and that's when I have to buy my first investment property.
Nice.
So it's gonna happen. I'm excited. I'm doing everything now to be able to make sure that when that day hits, I'm ready to go. So.
Nice. Nice. So before we let you go, is there anything you want to speak about, advice for 2023, or anything you just want to share in general?
Buy a house. I mean, I tell people this, right? I made my mom buy a house. If I made my mom buy a house, do you think I would try to manipulate her into doing it? No, I wanted her to do it because I knew it was the best investment. So we'll end on that, I guess.
Hey, if you make your mom buy a house,
Yeah.
you should buy a house.
Exactly. So it's a good time.
So thank you so much, Jariah, for stepping in, bro. I really appreciate you sharing your stories, your background. I mean, and just overall outlook of what we can expect in 2023. So everybody listening at home, do me a favor. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you go off and share, Jariah's story with everybody that you know, and, really let everyone know why a buy down right now could be one of the best options for you. We'll be back in 2 weeks again. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Brian Talks Money podcast. With that being said, Jariah, thank you so much. We'll see you guys on the next one. And remember, if you're going to buy a house, definitely hit one of us up. Later, guys.